You believe you're nurturing your creativity, but what's really growing is the thought and the act of perfectionism that keeps you from creating anything. Today, we're talking about something that has been growing in my heart, this idea of our lives as gardens. Every choice we make, every habit we nurture, every dream we water with our time and tears is all seeds in the soil of our existence. But here's what I've learned. Most of us are so busy surviving that we forget we're also gardeners. So today we're going to get our hands dirty and we're going to address what's actually growing in your life right now. Adjust what needs pruning or replanting and apply the fruits of your growth to serve the world around you. Because the garden you tend to in those quiet moments is both your sanctuary and your service to everyone who needs what you're meant to grow. Welcome to Adjusting. Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we are back with another episode of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Happy June, happy Pride Month. This is a beautiful episode that I'm very excited to talk about. It has kind of been one that has been growing for a while, no pun intended, but I am excited to talk about this. It's going to get churchy. It's going to have some elements of a sermon in there. Again, this is my way of doing the Lord's work. Okay, this is my type of ministry. You would never see me in a pulpit. Okay, but this space here, in the comfort of my safe space, I can do this. I can do this. But before we get any further, I want to thank TJ for editing my podcast. Please support him. His podcast is Tea with TJ. Also, this is his birthday month, so show him some love. Also, if you want to support my other brands and projects, you can follow my vegan lifestyle company, which is Earthy and Cultured. You can follow my branding and marketing page, which is Type J Marketing, or you can support me on my creative and performance journey by following my personal page at Justin G. Nelson. Please, please, please be sure to subscribe to my Substack channel. I have launched the Adjusted Perspectives, where I'm doing a recap of various episodes. So we are on season 1 right now. Go over there, give it a subscribe. I'm going to add a paid section as well so that you can get some more content and things. And then you can support what I'm doing here because it gets expensive. Great. And lastly, I have launched a TikTok page for Adjusting and it's growing. Okay. We are connecting with some people and I'm really excited. We're coming up on a 1-year anniversary. Okay, so I think that is when the guests will start coming. So that'll be July 7th episode, my dad's birthday. So I'm very excited to bring more people into this space so that you're just not hearing me. But I do like, my solo episodes, so I'm not mad about it. All right, so before we talk about addressing and adjusting the garden, because again, we're going to get our hands dirty this episode, I want to invite you to a sacred breath. If you're driving, focus on the road. Okay, but if you're not driving and if you're at home and you have a moment to just creep away and connect to your breathing, connect to your heart, then join me here. So if you're seated, relax your feet, plant them on the floor. Again, no pun intended. Relax your knees, relax your thighs, relax your hips, relax your stomach, relax your chest, relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax your cheeks, your chin, your head, your forehead. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. and out. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, and out. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, one more thing. Well, two more things before we really get into the episode. This episode, I really want it to be your mid-year check-in. Like, I really want you to take inventory of all the areas of your garden that you are cultivating, whether it's financial, because I don't talk about that much in this episode, but financial, spiritual, emotional, health, relationships, and those things. And also, I'm dedicating this program. I'm dedicating this episode to my mom and brother because I wore this to on our trip to Hawaii last year, and I wanted to wear something that was kind of floral and gardeny to really bring some color, not only for Pride Month, but just for the sake of like the energy that I bring into this episode. So keep all that in mind. Really take some time with this episode and be sure to share it with someone. Okay, now we can get into the episode. So let's talk about this beautiful topic. This is going to be full of like visuals and illustrations and things that you may or may not do on a daily basis. So part 1 is about addressing your garden, taking inventory of what is in the garden. So I want to start by talking about the difference between cultivating and what's actually thriving. I'm coming right out the gate. Okay, we're going straight into the soil. You might think you're growing patience, but what's actually thriving is resentment. You think you're cultivating a work life balance, but what's flourishing is people pleasing and burnout. You believe you're nurturing your creativity, but what's really growing is the thought and the act of perfectionism that keeps you from creating anything. Sometimes we're so focused on our intentions that we miss what's actually taking root. Yeah, we have those moments where we think we're thriving, but we're actually just surviving. And we have to take a step back and look at the fruits that are actually showing up in our lives. So, right now, I know we just started this episode and you probably already feel attacked. I am sorry. But if this resonates with you, leave a comment below. Let me know if you're thriving or if you're surviving, what's in your garden, what is taking root in those spaces. And then I want to talk about the concept of volunteer plants. Now, these are the plants that you didn't plant, but they popped up anyway. Think about when you are outside. So close your eyes. Let's go on a field trip. Let's go in the backyard or wherever you have a garden and think about starting the garden. You find a good spot. And what's the first thing you do? Right. So some people say, I'm going to find it. I'm going to instantly start going to the ground, digging up a spot, and planting seeds. You could do that, but I wouldn't advise that. You have to really take inventory of the soil and ensure that there are no chemicals or toxins in the soil, that there is not a huge boulder or something beneath the soil that you can even plant in that spot. And then you have to be mindful of the weeds or those volunteer plants that just pop up out of nowhere. Now, while I don't consider mint to be a volunteer plant, it is invasive. You plant one little sprig of mint, it takes over the whole garden. But in the mental health space, if you are planting your garden and starting this mental health journey, you want to put a layer down to separate the soil or the ground and those weeds from what it is you are looking to manifest. So I consider this layer to be a boundary. Layer down a boundary, what you want to allow to grow in your space, what you are blocking and not taking into this new garden, and then put the soil on top of it. You can put some compost on there too, some of your things that didn't work, but you still think there is hope. Like throw that in there as compost and some new fresh things, those dead leaves and stuff. You just like, there was some dead weight, but I know there is still new life that can come from this. Throw that in there too. But these volunteer plants are things that sprouted without you planting them, usually from seeds blown in by trauma, family drama, the culture, the toxic community. Like these are things that you did not plant, but they just popped up somehow. Maybe it's the habit of scrolling your phone first thing in the morning instead of taking some time to do some breathing exercises. Or when you're scrolling your phone when you're feeling anxious, it's a seed you planted subconsciously in your garden, or the pattern of saying I'm fine when you're not. That volunteer plant probably came from your childhood soil. Not being able to speak up for yourself and really speaking your mind and how you really feel. Yeah, that's a volunteer plant. The tendency to apologize for taking up space, the automatic yes when you mean no, the way you shrink yourself when someone else shines, those are volunteer plants. Volunteer plants aren't always bad, but they're taking up space and resources without your permission. So start plucking them things. What's growing in your life that you never consciously chose to plant? You can pause this episode and think on that. I know for me, the concept of imposter syndrome, I never planted that. I never woke up and said, I don't want to be my best self, or I want to question everything that I do and compare myself. I ain't never planted that. And here it is, sprouting. It tried to spread for a minute. But recognizing which seeds from your past are still producing fruit, some serve you and some don't. Some may be a protection plant. Some may be something that is shielding out other things. We don't know sometimes. That's for you to take inventory of. But I do want to talk about the soil types. Now, in theory, there are multiple variables of soil. You can mix soils. You have your perlite, you have your magna moss, you have hydroponic, which is like when you just grow it in water. I know a little something about plants. Like I don't have a garden because I live in New York, and I'm not about to put a garden indoors because that would be a recipe for pest and mice and rodents and those creatures that aren't paying rent here. So I don't want that. I'm good with that. But talking about the different soil types and how they reflect mental health. So number one, you have the rocky soil. This soil is cultivated from trauma, from hard circumstances. Now, seeds struggle in that type of soil, but they can still grow. If we were to compare them to an actual plant, think about your cacti, your succulents. They can grow. They can grow in this type of soil, but who wants to cultivate a life on like hard times and rocky soil? And then there's the shallow soil. This is the very busy and distracted life. You aren't really grounded. You're just, skating through. Things grow quickly, but wither when pressure comes. So it's not rooted. It's not deeply rooted. It's like rooted. And then the wind blows and it's like, yeah. But then there's the thorny soil. This is built from like worry, comparison, competing priorities. Good intentions get choked out by what crowds your heart. Again, good intentions get choked out by what crowds your heart. And then there is the good soil. We all are thriving for good, healthy soil in our garden. This is cultivated through prayer, through rest, through setting those boundaries, through intentional choices. This type of soil is the soil that is ready for deep abundant growth. This soil has been tilled and looked at. And I don't want to say it's been perfected because that goes back to this ideal of like perfectionism. But this is a soil that you really took the time to get right. You found the right space in the ground, you found the amount of water it needed, and all those things. But before we all get to the good soil, because is possible, we need to talk about the signs of unhealthy soil. I'm gonna hold your hand through this part. So number one, constant criticism. Internal or external voices that attack new growth immediately. So you told someone, I am planting a new garden. I am turning over a new leaf. I am starting this healing journey, and they instantly go, "Why?" Or "What's wrong with you? You okay?" Like, sometimes you're not broken. You just want to grow a little more, but you realize there are things that were holding you back. So you can't grow in an old space. You needed more room to grow. But then you got the criticism just like, well, your pot is fine. I don't think you need to do anything. I think I do. So mind your business. And then there's perfectionism, demanding perfect conditions before you're willing to plant anything. So, this is going back to that good soil, this perfectionism. You want the soil to be a certain temperature, you want the sun to shine a certain way, you want the wind to blow a certain way, the water has to be a certain degree. Like, you wanting all these things, baby, you ain't even planted the seed. Okay, you don't even know if your seed's expired, and you're worried about the soil already. Yeah, no, that's unhealthy. Comparison culture. Now, this is where a lot of my creatives or people in relationships tend to sink their soil or taint their soil. This is measuring your beginning against someone else's middle or end. Sweep around your own front door. Okay, you're looking over the fence at someone else's garden, not knowing what all they done put into it. Mind your business. Emotional drought, no supportive relationships or spiritual practices to nourish what you're trying to grow. This is when community is important, okay, to help you with the soil. These are the people, your safe spaces, the people you trust to share ideas with. You're finding resources outside of my podcast to help you fuel and nourish the ground you're looking to grow. But when you don't have that, and you are trying to build this off opinions or hearsay or fake news, like that is when the soil is unhealthy. Toxic environments, spaces, people, or situations that poison everything you try to cultivate. Those haters. Impatience with the process, expecting immediate results and giving up when growth takes time. It's just like people who go to the gym once and say, why don't I have a six pack? Or you eat a salad once a week and you're just like, oh, why am I not healthy? Let's be real. It takes time. Or people who people who go on a date the first time just say, why aren't we married? Are you okay? Are you like, let me hold your hand. Come here. It doesn't work like that. And then there's the concept of fear-based decision making, only planting safe seeds that don't challenge you to grow. I think that is a good analogy. We plant seeds that we are comfortable with because we know how to take care of them. But then we miss out on a lot of benefits and nutrients and things that can expand our garden and things that can expand our mindset when we don't think outside the box. Okay? So think about that. Think about things outside of the norm, outside of your tradition, outside of how you were raised that will make your garden flourish even more. Think about your future you and what you're planning today that can really benefit them then. And the last thing is neglect. Planting good seeds, but never tending to them consistently. Snake plants, beautiful plants, okay? Beautiful plants. You can neglect those, but you still got to water it. periodically. Okay. But when it comes to your seeds and your mental health, if you can do therapy once a month, but if you're not watering your mind and the things you took away from therapy outside of that, yeah, don't be like, my therapist sucked. You sure it's your therapist? I don't know. Okay, so the question for this section is, have you ever planted something beautiful only to watch it die before it even had a chance to live? Sometimes it's not the seed, it's the soil. So I've shared all these unhealthy things and unhealthy signs that make your soil not prosper. Think about that. And also think about how to work with your current soil. So if you have rocky soil, if you have thorny soil, if you have shallow soil, if you have good soil, these are ways to work with it. So for my rocky soil season, focus on hardy seeds. Be patient with slow progress. In the shallow soil season, choose depth and create a margin for roots. Okay, so think about getting a little deeper and like really moving away some things so that you can grow a little deeper or expand a little more. You'll find that most trees aren't able to get deeply rooted, but baby, them roots spread out. Okay, they cross a lot. If you ever get a chance to look at the like the underground of a tree, it's a beautiful thing to look at. And with thorny soil season, clear the weeds before planting anything new. Really take time to sit with yourself and say, okay, this is where kind of where shadow work comes in. I talked about that last season. And just really take inventory like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I giving out in the soil of my mental health garden that really needs to be removed so that I can flourish and prosper in this new season for myself? And then for my good soil season, plant, plant, plant. Or plant, baby, plant. Okay, plant boldly and expect abundance. Now, I also want to throw out there, if you are somebody who can't do soil, you can also do like a hydroponic, water only, and add in some fertilizer, some liquid fertilizer. You will find that you are able to just float and just take life as it is. Okay, and you can see the process take place. But just think about that also. As all eyes on you, people are going to see the good, bad, and the ugly. They're going to see when the water gets dirty. They're also going to wait for you to wash and rinse and repeat. So just think about that if you are a hydroponic kind of person. So now we're going to move to part two, adjusting your garden, making intentional changes. With change comes removal of things. And this is what I call the art of sacred pruning. Jesus did it, so we can do it too. Sometimes good things crowd out great things. Think of this as like hoarding. Okay, you have beautiful furniture, but no one sees it because you have collected a lot of shit over time. Like pruning healthy rose buds, so the remaining flowers can be stunning. Or if you are a garden guy and you know the concept of pruning back your like tomato so that you can really get a good bunch of tomatoes, or your lemons, peppers, anything that produces some type of vegetable or fruit, you want to prune back some of the additional ones so that you can really focus on a good harvest. That's a beautiful illustration. When it comes to the people with CPS, capable people syndrome, saying yes to every opportunity versus going deep with what matters to you, yeah, we got to prune that away. We can't be Superman, okay? We got to clip the cape. We got to prune that back. Cut the phone cord sometimes. Put it on do not disturb. What this feels like, it feels scary, and you'll feel guilty. You'll feel like you let someone down. But this creates a space for you to surprise yourself with what you can do with the time you call back. Seasonal pruning. Now, if we looked at a calendar and when it comes to planting or when it comes to a harvest, there are, 4 seasons. You have winter, spring, summer, and fall. In the winter seasons, most of the time, this is where a lot of grief comes up and also healing comes up. Heavy pruning, but you can simplify everything. You can really just clean slate. Okay, you can cry it all out, and you can go, okay, in this next season, I am going to plant this, that, and the other. And with spring seasons, this is when most people, especially the woke people, say that spring is their new year. Okay, so this is the season for new beginnings. Light pruning, clear what's obviously not working. So you've laid out everything. You're just like, that's expired. That won't serve me. I need something new here that's dated. Now, summer seasons, my birthday month, hey, you have full bloom. Minimum pruning here, just deadhead what's spent. Just look at it and say, this is topping over. I can do without this. Let's just chop this back. It's spreading too much. Let's just keep it contained. And then fall seasons is all about preparation, strategic pruning for what's coming next. Okay, so I hope that helps with the visual of the calendars and the seasons. And then there are aspect of the spiritual discipline of letting go, just like let go, let God. Jesus prunes fruitful branches so they bear more fruit. It's preparation, not punishment. There are a lot of stories in the Bible that relate to pruning throughout the generations and throughout various stories that show you that kind of like that blessing delayed isn't a blessing denied kind of concept when it comes to your harvest, and really taking inventory. Like, you can't take it all with you, but what you take with you, God will bless and multiply. Yeah, take that with your garden. Sacred sacrifice feels hard but right. Toxic sacrifice feels hard and it's wrong. Your tears aren't obstacles to growth. They're how dreams get watered. Yeah, that blood, sweat, tears, that's all like the vitamins and stuff for your garden. And then when it comes to the growth that you've made and outgrowing these spaces, you have to replant sometimes. Like when you get a indoor plant, for me, for instance, I have a monstera, and I got it from Trader Joe's. And that thing, the roots were coming out the bottom of the pot. I was just like, Trader Joe's, what are y'all feeding this thing? Like, it's alive. So I had to repot it in order for it to not outgrow that pot. And when I did it, I needed more soil. I had to make sure the soil was healthy and compared to what Trader Joe's had in their soil. Shout out to Trader Joe's, okay? And when I repotted it, it had to grow. You have to, most people say you want to get a pot that is 2 inches wider than the previous pot so that it has room to grow. But the roots don't in the indoor plant. They don't always grow down. They grow like up and wrap around that thing. So when it comes to repotting and replanting, planting seeds that align with your whole self. Okay, this is where the expansion comes from. Back to the whole you pyramid. With your inner child, what made you come alive before the world told you to be practical? With the current you, what does your season actually have capacity for? Do you have the capacity to take care of multiple things in your garden, or do you only need one thing? Like, it's not possible to just grow one thing. You need some like companion plants and companion vegetables and things here and there. So keep that in mind. But then when it comes to your future self, what would your 80-year-old self thank you for planting right now? When it comes to watering in this new repotted self, your tears of fear, grief, and overwhelm aren't signs of failure. There are signs you're fully invested. There are signs that this is something you're passionate about, something you truly want to come to fruition, and you are putting in the work. You are putting in the time, the money, the effort, the energy. Like all those things are going back into the soil as long as they are positive things and you are not fueling it with hate or envy or jealousy, but really true passion from the heart. The soil feels it. Okay. It takes time. I have a plant in my window that I got for my birthday in 2021. And that thing just pushed out a new vine. I thought I'm going to toss this thing. Okay. Two of them came out and I was just like, look at this. Look at this. My God. Every seed worth planting costs you something, and that cost is the price of transformation. The difference between sacrifice that leads to life versus sacrifice that leads to resentment. And here are some daily practices as seed planting moments. Every single day, you're either planting seeds or neglecting the garden. And then the second thing is how you start your morning is how you plant seeds for your day. So we can plant like small microgreens that really bloom in like 4 to 10 days. Those are like your broccoli sprouts and those chia seeds. Like you can put them in a jar with some water, rinse, repeat, and they start to grow. Think about that as like how to build daily habits. Those are small things in your garden. And Ebony shared a video with me the other day that really hit home, and it deals with um, building building your dream house. So I'm gonna say like building your garden. You have to build it brick by brick. You can't just put a brick down and expect for the house to be done. I won't want to live there and I won't want you to live there. But if you are tending to your garden and watering it every other day and really getting in there, picking out those weeds or putting some protection down so that bugs and animals and haters can't come in and take anything from it or kill it or eat what's grown before you can even benefit from it, like that is a thing that you can do daily. Small, consistent choices create compound change over time. And then part three, applying the fruits. Now, this is when you are in that season and you are like reaping the harvest. And you're like, this is everything I prayed for. These are the things that I truly have wanted to happen for me. But it's so much. It's just like, I don't know how I'm gonna use all of this. Like some people put it in the freezer, but it's the art of applying the fruits. How your garden serves the world. Your harvest is your ministry. Your harvest is your mission. Your harvest is how you give back and slowly start to heal from past generations. When you grow what you're truly meant to grow, it feeds more than just you. For creatives, for my creatives, your healed creativity becomes a gift to a world starving for authentic beauty and truth. With this podcast, I truly hope and pray that people are able to see themselves in certain episodes or certain situations and scenarios and get away from all the mess. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a laugh here and there, but like, there's this video, and I was trying not to talk about this, but here we are. There's this video of this couple at a wedding, and the Holy Spirit came in, baby. They were, what song was it? It was man, I can't think of the song, but it was a beautiful song. That song would take me out of here. And the Holy Spirit came in. The front row was gone. The bridesmaids were on the ground, like, Hallelujah, Lord, we worship you, Lord. And the groom, he got slain in spirit. He was laid out on the floor. And everyone was just saying, everyone was focused on the wrong thing. Everyone was saying, how was the cameraman capturing this? Or why was this posted on social media? Now, I agree with you. Why would you post this on social media? And then I say, why wouldn't you post it on social media? If you are proud of the union and how God has already blessed it, maybe I share it too. But I say all that to say, people tend to be drawn to more of the negative things and not the beautiful or positive things. So if you are creative, I implore you to post, to share the beauty and the truth that has come from your healed garden. When you stop creating from wounds and start creating from wholeness, your art carries healing. Your courage to make imperfect things gives others permission to try. When you are not fueling your content or your creativity from the mindset of perfectionism, but just from the mindset of passion and purpose, you will see a lot more. You will sleep better at night knowing that you showed up as you. Mhm. For my parents, your personal growth becomes your children's inheritance. The emotional regulation you cultivate becomes their sense of safety. The dreams you pursue teach them it's never too late to become who they're truly meant to be. So, shout out to all my parents who are going back to get another degree or a certification or going back to work or just really doing things to show their kids that it's never too late to do the things you want to do. I love that for you. Your healing breaks generational cycles and plants seeds for new legacies. My parents who are doing this soft parenting and really having a space for their kids to really express how they feel, I love that. I truly love that. For my mental health people, and people just found this podcast just because they want to start their mental health journey. Your journey toward wholeness creates ripples of hope. Your transparency about struggle and growth normalizes the healing journey for others. And that's how I started this podcast. I would get on there and I would share snippets from my therapy session. I talked about the concept of nibble and gorge and how you don't have to ingest everything that happened. You can take parts of it just to figure out what is going on. The boundaries you learn to set teach others what healthy relationships look like. Your self comparison gives others permission to be gentle with themselves. And for my couples, the work you do on yourself becomes a gift to your relationships. Your individual healing creates space for deeper intimacy. When you stop trying to get your partner to complete you, you can actually complement each other. Your emotional growth models what mature love looks like for you and for other people to say, you know what, that's healthy. I don't need to see everything that goes on in y'all relationship, but if y'all share the good, the bad, and the ugly, I can respect that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. With creating space for others to grow, your garden becomes like a safe space. It becomes that community garden for other people to come and share their things and maybe plant something else in your garden. Being a safe garden for creatives. So, this is celebrating others' creative risk without comparison or competition. And this is why I'm grateful for TJ. When I had the idea of a podcast, he was like, let's talk about it. We brainstormed, we worked on it together, and here we are thriving together in this podcast community. Supporting other parents. So this is when the kids are going outside to play and you're just like, hey, I need to talk to you about something and, keep this between us. Keep it between y'all. If they said keep it between us, keep it between them. Okay? People need to value the art of keeping shit to yourselves. For the mental health community, being the friend who checks in consistently, not just during a crisis or not just when you need something or not just when you're trying to be messy. And strengthening your relationships. Your adjusted garden gives your partner permission to tend to theirs. Maybe your partner isn't as strong as you are mentally, and maybe they are still trying to remove the rocks and the thorns and the shallow spots in their soil. But if you are able to slowly merge your garden with their garden and really put some good soil and good energy in it, they will love you even more for that. But with the harvest, there has to be a balance between sharing and protecting. Your harvest is meant to be shared, but not with everyone. Some people can stand on the other side of the fence and you can pass it over. Okay. Sometimes you got to put a price to your harvest. Learning to discern who gets access to your fruit and who only gets to see it from a distance. Yeah, not everyone can get access to it. For my creatives, sharing your work while protecting your creative process. People will question your process, or some people don't even care about your process. They just want to see the end result, but they don't realize the labor and the amount of time and energy you put into it. Or they say, why aren't you producing as much? I'm sorry. I don't see you in here trying to come up with concepts and do the research and things. Like, mind your business. For parents, being vulnerable about your journey while maintaining your children's privacy. For people in the mental health space, sharing your story to help others while maintaining your own emotional boundaries. And for my couples, being open about your growth while protecting the sacred space you've created with your partner. All these beautiful things are how the garden, our mental health garden, helps others and also helps ourselves, our future selves. And I really hope you all enjoyed this episode. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Your life is both your sanctuary and your service. The garden you tend to in the quiet moments, the seeds you water with your tears and sacrifice, the pruning you do in love rather than fear, it all matters. Not just for you, but for everyone who gets to taste the fruit of what you're becoming. So, what's one thing in your garden that's asking for your attention right now? Trust that gentle nudge, your future self, and everyone who needs what you're growing is counting on you to make the choices you make today. I hope you took something from this episode and you are ready to get your hands dirty and go deep inside. Don't go outside because the weather is crazy, but go deep inside of your spiritual garden, your mental health garden, and really start to do some pruning, some inventory, some replanting if you need to. And if your soil is good and you are really in the season to reap your harvest and share with others, I pray that you do so with a good mindset and good intentions. Until next time, keep adjusting. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.